Look at me. Your mother is not your coach. I am the coach. Your mother doesn't know what to do. She did. She wouldn't look in here. Do you understand that? This is where it all starts. We are preparing for the national competition. Moms come from all over to bring their children to me. I can make you or I can break you. They want to be a part of the Abby Lee Dance Company. What if she fell 13 stories down and died? Huh?
Stop crying, it's making it worse.
Go ask your 9-year-old if she likes what she's wearing.
I'm the mother. I'm an adult.
Upright one.
I need to go home. Nobody lives here. How many times have I told her be your mother? Melissa's sneaky and she lies.
Christy is just jealous of me and her daughter.
I think they're both crazy.
I'm the teacher, I'm the mentor, I'm the professional.
If he comes to me and says that she wants to play softball, I'll probably slit my wrist.
So, I'm going to explain what communication climate is and how it relates to the show Dance Moms. Communication climate is a climate that sets the tone for interpersonal relationships. Effective communication is an important skill to learn in life. When we communicate, we connect with, learn from, influence, and even disagree with others. When we communicate effectively, we communicate both civilly and ethically. When we communicate ethically, we consider the moral impact of our words, our views, and our ideas on others. When we communicate civilly, we're open to others' views, even though we may not necessarily agree with them. Abby Lee Miller is the dance instructor on the show Dance Moms, and she has quite an interesting way of communicating. Abby identifies with being a notoriously demanding yet passionate dance instructor. However, she has competition in the area of being demanding from her students' mothers. Abby opens the first episode of season 1 with the pyramid. The pyramid is a way for her to rank her dancers based off of their performance at the last competition. She takes pictures of the girls' faces and she ranks them with the person at the top being her high performer, which is usually Maddie, who is known to be Abby's favorite student. And the other girls, they all want to be on top as well. So the mothers worry that this pyramid will create a negative reflective appraisal for the girls. A reflected appraisal is the process of developing an image of who we are based on the way others describe us. The other girls are competing with Maddie in order to be at the top of the pyramid when they're all basically on the same team. This is called social comparison. This is when we compare ourselves with others in order to determine our value or worth in relationship to that other person. The girls are also always in the process of identity management in order to achieve a positive appraisal from Abby. Identity management is the process of altering our own behaviors in order to shape others' impressions of who we are. Now, these girls often dance with injuries, when they're sick, and when they're sad. Crying is never an option. Abby has a strict policy for no crying. She will tell the girls to suck it up or to man up. But the only affect display that Abby allows is a smile, no matter how they're feeling. Affect displays are nonverbal movements that indicate how we feel, such as frowning, crying, or scowling. Like Abby says, no crying, there are only smiles allowed. So Miss Abby gives these girls a little bit of tough love, or rather, a lot of it. Abby like I said before, has an interesting way of communicating and critiquing as well when she's instructing her students in dance. If they're not listening to her, or they're dancing in a way that Abby sees undesirable, she'll tell them things such as, "Those legs are about as straight as Elton John," which is a little bit of slang that she uses, or maybe it's a euphemism, if it were a polite term or more socially acceptable way to describe what Abby found unpleasant about the girls' dance form. It could also be considered doublespeak, or language used to purposely disguise the actual meaning of something. However, Abby wasn't trying to disguise or be polite and telling the girls that their legs were about as straight as Elton John. She was being direct about how she felt about their dance form. And that's Abby. She's direct with her communication, she's blunt with her communication, and she doesn't sugarcoat anything. Abby does not like for the moms to interfere with her dancers in any way when she's instructing them. She wants the girls to listen. Listening is the process of giving thoughtful attention to someone's words and understanding what they say. She'll tell the girls when she's instructing them, or she's talking to them about how a dance is going to go for an upcoming competition. She'll say, "Look at me, not your moms. I'm the instructor. They're not the instructor, so look at me." Abby feels like when the girls look at their moms, it causes listening interference. And that is anything that hinders a listener from receiving a message from the sender. Abby does not want the mothers interfering with the girls. She even has a designated place for them to sit in the studio when the girls are dancing and when they're training. She has like a box seating for them where they sit upstairs, but they can still view the girls through a glass. They can't talk or communicate with them. When the mothers do try to interact or, give their opinion or interfere at all with what Abby's training the girls, conflict often breaks out. In the first episode, the first season, there's one specific conflict that I'm going to talk about. There was they were training that Abby excused one of the children from class because she wasn't dressed appropriately. She was wearing shorts and socks, and Abby prefers the dancers to be wearing leotards and dance shoes. She says they cannot dance in socks, so she excused the student from class that day. Well, the mother wasn't so happy. She actually goes berserk. She abruptly interrupts Abby while she's training her senior class, and she yells at her, "Why is my daughter being kicked out of class today?" This causes a major conflict. Abby explains to the mother, I excused her. She's not dressed appropriately. The mother takes defense to this. She takes a personal defense to this, becoming a defensive listener, where she is taking the offense or the child being kicked out of class as a personal attack. This causes her and Abby to begin ambushing each other. Abby's walking away. She's trying to explain the situation to the mother. The mother's just ambushing, yelling and screaming, and they're flaming each other. Flaming is an uninhibited expression of hostility, such as swearing, name-calling, ridicule, and insults that are directed at the other person. So they're flaming, they're yelling. Abby even attacks the mother back by flaming at her daughter, saying that her daughter can't read and that the apple does not fall far from the tree. So Abby retreats to one of the classrooms and she calls the police. She wants this irate mother removed from her studio. She's crazy, she's yelling, she's screaming, she's following her all over the studio. The dispatcher asks, "Does the woman have any weapons?" She said, no weapons, just her mouth. So Abby has the police escort them off the property, and she expels the student and abruptly terminates the relationship between her, the student, and the mother, making the separation final. So, in conclusion, Abby is one tough cookie, but so are the dancers and their mothers, being able to weather this rather abrupt and passionate style of communicating that Abby has. Is this effective communication? Well, I mean, Abby's neither a civil or ethical communicator. Abby does not consider the moral impact of her words on the students or the mothers, nor is she open to the views of the mothers or the students. She has her idea of how she wants things to be, and that's all there is to it. It's Abby's way or the highway. However, she does produce beautiful, employable dancers, and the mothers keep coming back because they know that Abby produces positive results. Abby claims that the reason that she is so hard on these students is because she would rather ridicule them and then cry in her studio rather than in front of someone in the middle of an audition, because they're going to be worse than Abby is towards them. She's preparing her dancers for a career so that when they get to the real life, they're ready.